Hey, what's up, folks? What is going on? I appreciate y'all stopping by for a quick stream out of nowhere. I was sitting around and I was kind of checking out some things online, and I thought, man, I got a second. I cut the grass already. I cut the grass already, and I want to chat for a little bit. So the sound check, real quick. Give me a sound check. I kind of want to start putting the microphone out of view on the live streams. So what's going on, T? T, I am using a new device to stream with. It's not something that I'm going to stream with normally, but I'm glad you're here, so you can tell me what you think about it. Yeah, it's pretty sweet, man. I'm staying put, but I brought something else in just to kind of check it out. Unfortunately, I was watching your T Devane channel. I was watching your T Devane channel, and I said, man, I kind of getting hooked. Actually, I went back and watched all of your, well, I should say, rewatched all of your camera equipment videos. You and several other people, but I was on your channel, and I was like, man, yeah. Anyway, tell me what you think about the quality of the stream. I know over Restream, it's kind of different. You really can't get the gist of it. But I've got a video coming out on this product. So if you're a member, you've already seen it. So no spoilers. But I do have a video coming out on this product. And it definitely, just so you know, it's not, here's my Sigma. So it's not Sigma, but it's pretty good. So yeah. Anyway, so I want to talk about the Samsung devices, and let's be honest about them. I see a lot of people coming in. I appreciate you stopping by for just really quick and out of the blue stream I decided to do. So did you order? Yes, I ordered. But I didn't order for the purposes of, actually, I was going to go ahead and stream in 1080p 60 or 1440p 60, but I was like, I don't feel like setting up everything on OBS. So I came over to Restream. I wanted to see how well Restream would actually make it look. So, but I ordered, and I'm getting ready to go in and order. Now, my primary focus was the Z Flip3. I've made this very clear. I've said it a bunch of times. I'm not really interested in the Z Fold3, even though I loved the Z Fold2. But I am going to buy the Z Fold3, but not for the purposes of, it being a main device for me, because I'm actually looking forward to the Pixel lineup. The Pixel lineup is, whoa, I just feel like, and I know this stream is predominantly about Samsung, but I just feel like the Pixel lineup is going to kill. It's going to slaughter this year. And I think people are going to try to ignore it, and they really shouldn't. But anyway, when it comes to Samsung, the Z Flip3 is in fact the one that is for me. I wanted a new Samsung device that I didn't have to treat it like the S21. So man, I just feel like the Z Flip3 is one that we won't be able to ignore for long, because I think Samsung is going to be able to grab a wider market and more people with the Z Flip3. And at this point in the game, it's really nothing to do with price, I would say, because people are financing them. They're getting better trade-in deals on carriers this year. But I'll tell you why I ordered the Z Fold3 and why I'm keeping the Z Flip3. Now, you're probably saying, wait, Jay, you don't even have it yet. You're already saying you're not going to keep your Z Fold3. That's probably the case. Meaning I'll do a review on it, because my subscriber base would like to see it. And you guys know that when I do reviews, I normally keep phones for at least 6 months before I sell them off. Or if I keep them, I just keep them. But the reality is, I think the Z Flip3 is going to be a phone that I'm going to probably recommend way more than the Z Fold3. But I kind of am feeling both. But as a daily driver, I don't want to carry around my Surface, my Z Flip3, and my Pixel 6. I don't want to do that. The Surface has been adapted as just my not business flow, but I can get it's a lot of functionality with the Surface. What to me, it still does, it's going to do better than the Z Fold3 when it comes to being functional with two separate displays. And Samsung technically did that this time with the two separate digitizers because they had that pin in there. They just tried to still use that thin layer of glass. I think the Z Fold3 will be so nice if they just split it and go glass. They won't do it though because they want to. Hey, I understand the money they've invested in the technology to get the Z Fold lineup, and I can respect that. The Z Fold2, if you don't know, was my phone of the year for creators. I thought it was a great phone for creators, and I still think it's a great phone for creators. You'll probably be able to get a great deal on the Z Fold2 if you can find one. But the Z Fold3 is where it's at. I mean, they've got some great deals on the Z Fold3 on carriers. Now, I didn't trade in any phones this year for my Z Flip3. I just didn't want to give up some really solid phones for pennies on the dollar. You know, I just couldn't do it. And so I opted to just say, you know what, let me just buy this. Let me get as much as I can. I had some coupons in my account still, in my Samsung account, and I had my military. So, you know, hey, I didn't spend $1,000. I didn't even spend $900. If I'm being honest, I didn't even spend $800. I had enough credits and stuff building, and then my military is pretty nice, well, government. So, you know, I did well on that. But even if I would have not had those coupons, I still was buying the Z Flip3. I was prepared to spend $1,000. And that's just how it was for me with the Z Flip3. I think the Z Flip3 is economical. It's going to be something that's natural for people to respond to. And it's not to take away from the Z Fold3. It's just that the Z Flip3 is going to be more to consumers' liking as far as pocketing, carrying, moving around their day. Because honestly, a lot of people don't want to carry, a lot of men, I would say, probably don't want to carry a big, bulky phone in the device. A lot of times I wear like sports gear because I end up just going for a walk or work out at the spur of a moment. And I don't want to have this big thing weighing down my pockets. If I leave from working out, I want to run to the store real quick. The Z Flip3 and other small compact devices just will feel better. They feel better in my pocket. So the Z Fold3 though, the Z Fold3's price. So let's cover a couple of things in here. I see a lot of comments in here, and I apologize if I missed those comments. I wanted to say hello to everybody and, you know, kind of get a feel for the chat and everything. So let me go backwards here. So I am doing fine. Everybody that said, hey, how you doing, Jay? I appreciate those comments. First of all, were you even able to get in there and get a device? Because the servers were down when I first tried to do it yesterday, and I was able to get in there later in the day. So I'm looking that I just think it's the Samsung line this year when it comes to functionality for consumers. Technically, they checked off some boxes that's beneficial to consumers. I'll say they made more changes, it appears, on the surface to the Z Flip3. In my humble opinion, I think it's it looks like it's just a more premium device. I like what they did with the cameras. I like with the bigger screen on the back. We'll talk about that disappearing selfie cam because I have one right over there in the box and I don't use it because that technology isn't there yet. I believe that is like a 4 megapixel or something like that because it's not the Samsung. See, Samsung's doing what ZTE did. They want to get their feet wet and getting in that place and in that space. So then when they do get it right, they're already there. So basically this test dummy run with the Z Fold3 with this disappearing camera is simply just that. It's not going to be, I've used hidden cameras before. And again, I have, I think 2 over there. They don't look good at all. They just don't look right. And I want to see some honest reviews on, and if it looks, let's be clear here. If it looks good, I'm going to say it looks good. If it looks decent, I'm going to say it looks decent. But if it's not good, I'm not going to trash it and say, oh, this is garbage and it's it's trash. I'm not going to verbalize it too much because I think we all can expect that. Yeah, it's not going to be great. It's not going to be like a regular camera when it comes to just having it all the way through. So I want to try to tackle some of if you have a question, I want you to post your question down there. Um, T says he's getting ready to leave all these phones alone and wait for the Pixel. Hey, it is what it is. We know the Pixel is going to crush this year, man. It's going to crush. I mean, it's going to crush. So, you know, the under display technology for the Z Fold3, you know, Samsung's dipping their head in that water. And, you know, again, when you first try, so I applaud Samsung for even trying, even though they're not the first. That's going to be a very difficult thing to tackle because you need to get a clear picture through several layers. And that is why consumers, or that's why OEMs are having a lot of trouble with that type of technology, because you're not going to be able to get it as clear as having the lens right out front. Yeah, right out front. I started my car an hour ago, just couldn't put the Note 20 Ultra. I don't think I would trade that, Omar. That's personally, I wouldn't trade the Note 20 Ultra because you're ultimately getting the same software. You're just getting different hardware, and you got to ask yourself, is it worth it? You have to ask yourself that. I personally would not trade my limited edition S20 Ultra. And yes, I said limited edition because there are no more of those. There's no S21. There's no Note 21 Ultra or whatever. It's not there. So keeping a last generation of something is going to be a huge plus for you. Now, deals on Samsung versus deals on carriers. I actually have 2 videos on this. If you haven't seen them, you know, feel free to check them out if you want to after the stream, but I'm going to talk about it right now. Deals on carriers are better than Samsung's deals, depending on who you are. Now, personally, did I order through carriers? No, I paid right out because there's this thing called bloatware sometimes. When I spend $1,700, $1,800, sometimes, you know, I don't want to, and I know the bloatware doesn't affect me at all, but it could bog down the device for resources later on. And to the people that say, you know, well, you can just take it off. Most consumers don't want to mess with that. You don't want to mess with the ROM and all that. You just want to use it. Now, bloatware doesn't bother me that much. T-Mobile has the least amount of bloatware on their devices. So I'm going to order my Z Flip is already ordered. You know, I paid for that already through Samsung's site. So now what I'm doing is I'm on the fence of whether or not I want to order this. And I'm being transparent. I'm wondering if I should grab one of these carrier deals and get 1,000 off for trading in a phone that's not even worth, you know, it doesn't even cost full retail that amount. Because it's not about the price of the trade, it's about them keeping you with them. And that's what trade-in deals are about. That's why you can get such great trade-in deals. And, you know, the companies don't care about the devices. They want you to stay with them. They want you to commit to being with them. If you haven't figured that out yet, you might just be new to the cell phone game, but it's not about getting this best deal on the phone for them. It's about throwing everything in the bucket so they can keep you on their network. That's all it's about. So I ordered the Z Flip3. I've got a couple of polls up on my channel, my community, on the Twitter joined. I just know that based on my experience in buying phones, and I normally pay for them out. And as a creator, there's some links right there if you want to check them out. As a creator, in the back of our minds, we always have. Now, let me ask creators this real briefly. As a creator, when you buy something, in the back of your mind, don't you always have that feeling of I got to make the return on this, especially if you're paying for it outright. You want. I think that's just a creator's mind. Even though I'm a creator, I'm still human, and I still want to enjoy my products, which I definitely do. But as a creator, you content creators, don't you always have back in your subconscious, in the back of your mind, man, I got to get my return on this. I spent $1,250 on this. I got to at least get $1,750. You know, over time, not right away, but just over time, like over a 7-month period. The device should pay for. Like before that year is up, if you're spending a lot of money on a device, you want to, as a creator, have gotten your money back on that and then some. So I know I'm not the only creator that feels like that. Some creators probably won't say that, but I'm honest. I totally feel like that. I feel like because I'm about to. I just dropped just under 8 for my Z Flip, and then I'm going to drop. I think I can get the Z Fold. See, again, the Z Fold with all my coupons and discounts and military, I could probably get it for about 15. But on a carrier, I could just take a carrier deal and end up paying like $7.99 for it. And that's the mindset that I have. I'm on the fence about which deal I want to take. I prefer to get all unlocked phones, and that's just me. You get what you want. I prefer to have all unlocked phones because the resale value it's just way better in a lot of situations unless the demand for a device is that high. Most carrier devices don't sell as well as unlocked devices in most situations. The only devices that I've seen sell that are carrier that are very that are locked still. I think I've seen some iPhones sell pretty decently that's locked, and then the S21 line, I've seen some of those go for quite a bit. So, the Z Flip, we'll talk about the Z Fold a little bit, but when I posed the question, how do you really feel about it, and did you order one? A lot of people will tell you that they're on the fence still. They're on the fence about buying one of the new devices if they currently have. So if you have the Z Flip3 5G, I definitely probably would go ahead and even if you don't need the upgrade, because they're giving a pretty decent amount. When I looked at it, they were giving like 800 or 900 for the Z Flip3. Let me see if I can just kind of pull it up here. I'm not mistaken, they definitely were given a pretty penny for the Z Flip3 or the Z Flip2. So I'm going to just open up a separate window here, and I'm going to check this out real quick with a trade and see if I can pull up that pricing and what they're giving for the Z Flip2. If they're trading it in. The Z Flip 5G, they're giving 600. And if you have a Z Fold 2, but they're giving more for the Fold 2 if you're buying. They're giving 900 for the Fold 2 if you're buying a Z Fold 3. But if you're buying a Z Flip 3, they're giving 750. And if you're buying a Z Flip 3 and you're trading in a Z Flip 5G, which is a 2, they're giving 600. And that's I definitely personally it's up to you to decide whether or not you want to trade in or not. I just feel like when it comes to the trade-in deals this year, this is opening the door with several things. Pricing is better on the device. Pricing is a little bit better on the Z Flip 3 because they have the two different memory options now. And I went with the 256 gig. And quick note here, if you order the Z Flip 3, just go with the 256 gig if you don't care about having the black color only. The only reason I switched is because I was like, I would rather have double the memory on board because I plan on keeping this device and probably selling it next year or trading it into Samsung next year for the Flip 4. I don't know. But I wanted to at least have the memory. Now, I was going to get the green Z Flip. I think it's a green one, right? But I said, you know what? Forget that. I'm going to put a leather case on it anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and just get double the storage. Why not? And they're also offering double the storage on the Z Fold 3 as well. So I mean, I can't tell you what to do. If you just really want one of the colorful Z Folds or Z Flips, go for it. But I would say I would think a person will want the storage more based on the way we buy. We trade, we get cases, and we do stuff like that. So we're going to cover it. So if you're planning on buying the Z Fold 3, they're offering $900 if you trade in your Z Fold 2. I personally feel like that's a great deal. I think that's a great deal to get $900 for your Z Fold 2 on the Z Fold 3. And a lot of people are saying, I'm selling mine. I can get more money selling it. I don't think you're going to be able to get I don't think you're going to be able to get. You could get it depending on who you are, and if you're selling to a person who doesn't do their research. Yes, you'll be able to sell your Z Fold 2 for $1,000. But if a person is smart and they're doing their research, they wouldn't buy your used Z Fold 2 for $1,000 when they can just get a new one probably for 11 or something like that. People in the certain communities and certain people out there, they don't do their research, and that's how they get played. And I don't mean played in a bad way. I mean, shout out to Cafe, man. What's going on? I ain't talk to you in a little bit. You got to get into the new group, Cafe. We over there chilling, man, and chat. Just DM me your email if you want to come through. It's a small number of people this day. It's maybe 15, 16 people, so it's really good. But doing your own research on what you buy is up to you. So if you get played and buy a Z Fold 2 for 1,000 or more than 800 at this point in the game, you got played financially. You just made a poor choice, I would say, if you didn't do your own research, because you'll be able to grab a Z Fold 2 for a really good price, new, hopefully somewhere. And then pre-owned market is going to drop because of the good trade-in deals on the Z Fold 3. The Z Fold 2 is getting $900 from Samsung directly. They're offering $900 for the Z Fold 2 on a trade. If you just trade in one device, that's a great deal. I would do it. If I still had a Z Fold 2, I would trade it in 1,000. I would get that $900 for it. At one point, Apple was offering, what's going on, Barry? And I see you guys in there. Cafe said he just sold his Z Fold 2 for $875 on Swappa. They're not giving that type of money anywhere. Having sold it for $875 on Swappa, hey, you got to, whoever got yours, if it was in pristine condition, I'm sure they got a good deal. But you know, trading in to Samsung and getting $900 if you wanted the Z Fold 3, yeah. But if you sell your Z Fold 2 and then you end up buying the Z Flip 3, you pretty much get it for free, basically, or at least a little out of pocket, I'll say. But I still feel like, you know, when you're buying something on the pre-owned market, you have to be very careful, because some people don't tell the truth. They're not completely honest about it. I would probably buy from everybody in here that's a creator, because, or someone in the tech space, I'll say. If you wanted to sell me a device, I probably would trust you, because I would know that, okay, so they run amongst the crowd that I run amongst, and they're probably going to take care of the devices. They're going to have a screen protector on it, or they're going to have a case on it. They're going to have something. And they probably don't drop it much, and, you know, it doesn't get wet or whatever. But speaking of wet, now that Samsung has added a mild dusting of water this thing could get, I personally feel like even the previous generations that they say are not water, and just so you know, folks, all the people that keep begging for water resistance and, oh, it doesn't have an IP rating, the IP rating drives the price up. And then also the IP rating, they're still going to tell you that you're not supposed to get the device wet. This is what they're going to tell you. So all the people just keep begging for an IP rating. That's one thing I like about who did that? OnePlus did it, right? Where they didn't certify it, but it was still waterproof. If companies would just do that, that'll drive the price back down. So I think that all the people who ask for all these unnecessary things, because when you think about it, when's the last time you actually got your phone wet? Like you dropped it in a bucket of water. When's the last time that happened? When is it? Yes, I'm gonna eat a cracker. I don't know anybody who's really dropped their phone in the toilet, or you know, it fell out. It might have dropped in the yard when it was raining, but you quickly picked it up, you wiped it off and put it in your pocket. Or you were walking in the rain and it got a little wet. Jeff J says water resistance is not real. I walked through a pole and grabbed my son last year, and my iPhone 12 Pro got fried. I mean, the reason I posed that question is because so many people baby their devices. Like when the only time I think about price, I was in the postal service one time. I was in the post office, right? I was on my Z Flip 2 and it slipped out of my hand. I was like, oh snap. I had a case on it, but I was like, the first thing I thought of was the price. I didn't think about losing my data. I didn't think about nothing. I thought about, oh my goodness, I just lost a bunch of money, because I don't keep insurance on phones. I think insurance from the carriers is a scam sometimes. This is the way I feel about it, because you're giving up, just like car insurance. You're giving up all this money just in case, and you don't get any kind of return on it. Car insurance companies should be refunding you about 70, 80% of your payments that you've made over the year, but they don't. So they remain profitable, because we're paying for all the people who can't drive, who's reckless and running up our rates. Anyway, so the water resistance thing, I'm not sold on that. I wasn't one of those people with the previous generation saying, oh my gosh, it needs an IP rating. I don't even care about that. The only time I've tested an IP rating on a phone is when those rugged phones were sent to me and they told me to destroy them, or they told me to try to destroy them and dunk them in water. That's the only time. I'm not taking my brand new iPhone 12 Pro Max or my brand new iPhone 12, and I'm not dunking it underwater just to get a view on YouTube. I'm not doing it. Nah, not gonna happen. Can't see it happening, and I just don't see the point. I've never seen the point of drop test videos on regular phones, because people instantly put a case on their product. They don't. I do. I've already got cases and everything. I've just got everything lined up already, and I'm ready to protect it. When I bought my Z Flip3, I took the option with the $100 credit, and I chose 2 cases. I got the leather case, and I got one of the new flip cases. I thought those were cool. I would probably use the newer flip case more because of the hook and everything, and then it's a grippy case. I don't know about the leather case, but water resistance for me, that's not a deal breaker for me. If a phone doesn't, almost all of my phones now probably have some kind of IP rating, but the ones that don't, I use them just the same. I'm not even worried about that. I don't even care about an IP rating. How do you guys feel about, now let's tackle this real quick, because I kind of briefly touched on it when it wasn't too many people here, but now we're at a point where I want to talk about this again. Do you feel like mainstream, because I remember saying that at one point, like, we're still waiting on the follow-up for one of my favorite devices, this device right here. We're waiting on the follow-up for this. Do you feel like now that Samsung has brung the price to, it's the Z Flip has 120 hertz display. It's the same size display, pretty much the same device with a few tweaks that were definitely needed. Like, we needed the bigger shield on the outside for the screen. We needed to have it to where it's usable. You can shoot video with the outside screen now and see yourself. You can reply to messages. You can do what you want on the outside screen. But do you think that now that Samsung has given the Z Flip3 the same pricing as like their Ultra lineup or less, or just their S20 lineup, do you think that mainstream society will be, okay, Jeff, I see you watching on the surface too. Do you think that mainstream society will go ahead and start to accept the concept? Because we're saying folding device, but in reality, phones back in the day, they all flipped open. You know what I mean? Like, everybody used to be on Boost, like, you flip it open. What's going on, man? Yeah, the chirp. I think they should bring back the two-way radio system, but that's what, if we use that again, the government can't watch you as much. So if you switch back over to the two-way radio system, through this, like Boost Mobile and all that, they have less control over you. For those that are in the know, they can see more with our current technology in our private life. But when you switch over to communicating directly like that, they have less control, and so they can't get as much of your information. So is what it is. But I would love to go back to have that option fully, and I would switch back to those rugged phones like that, those rugged flips like that with Boost. I would totally do it. But so again, I pose that question: do you honestly believe that the mainstream society will see more people walking around now with razors, and because there's a new razor coming out? Do you think people will gravitate more towards the flip like that style? Now that the price is right in line with other flagships or the mainstream pricing, because the media has gotten us used to thinking that $1,000 is kind of a tier where it's safe, So I think that the mainstream media, given the option that they can now finance everything, phones can be financed, and I'm not against people financing phones. I just think that Samsung is onto something, and this is why I want to see Google really hit a folding device. I think the pricing on the Z Flip is great. I think it's right in line with where it should be, because you're technically getting more technology than you got on your S21 Ultra. Technically, you're getting more technology, but you're paying less in a lot of situations, or you're paying, right at the same point. And if I'm being honest, show of hands, who would take, now don't think about this too much. Don't try to think about it too hard, but who would take a Z Flip 3 over an S21 Ultra, like the style? Wouldn't you rather have like that same device that can fold away than to carry around the big clam, the hard shell? I don't know. I would take a Z Flip3 over an S22 Ultra or an S21 Ultra, whatever. I would take that folding design over any of those Samsung phones that don't fold, because you're getting a bunch of technology for what I would consider just well worth the price. I've never touched the Z Flip3 or the Z Fold3. I've never touched any of the new devices. I don't have any hands-on with it. And again, just because I'm a creator, I still, I stand in line at the grocery store like you do. They don't ship it to my house. But if they did, though, I'll respect it. I would tell you it'll be on point. I'll be on point with it still. My reviews will be the same. Yeah, I definitely would take the Z Flip style from Samsung over any of their regular non-folding devices. Like all those, from the S21 on down, like all those style devices, I would take a Z Flip3 over any of those, folks. That's just me personally. I'm not trying to sway anybody, but let's read a comment from Michael Peppertech. He says, let me put it up here if I can get it. I see a lot of your comments. Pristine, what's going on? I see you made time to come through. I know you're a busy man. I'll get to some of your comments. Michael Peppertech says, I think $9.99 for the Z Flip is getting better. It's got the specs of the base S21 that folds in half and has the outer display for notifications. Problem is, people expect more for the right price right now, but people are always going to expect to pay a little bit and get a lot in the tech community. See, that's the thing. What's going on, John Mooring? Everybody say what's up, John. I saw a comment from Pristine up here. I'm trying to find it. People, the conversation about wanting more and paying less, we should, in fact, want to not pay a lot. We shouldn't want to pay a lot, but in the tech community, tech enthusiasts, and I'm not going to leave myself out. I'm saying? I'm not going to try to exclude myself, because sometimes I've made the comment that I think something should cost a certain price or whatever, but we as tech enthusiasts, we're not realistic about a lot of stuff. And sometimes we try to promote things to the average consumer that we really shouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, it's not fair sometimes to the average consumer that they sometimes fall victim to us with a voice and they buy something that they really don't need. And that is why on this channel, I try to promote phones that are under $200. But believe it or not, people still complain. Like, here in comes the tech enthusiasts that will say, why are you reviewing this phone? Well, there's somebody who wants to see this phone for $29. You know what I mean? It's just there. Wait for Z Fold2. Let me see here. Here's another comment. I know you guys it's been a lot of comments up here, folks. I apologize, but I like to keep the flow going. Valid Chris says, I like the design, but I check my notifications on my smartwatch more than my phone. That's a good point. Oh, super chat from Right Winger. What's up, Jay? Team Z Fold is in the house. Big black. Yeah, I that's there. No trade. I didn't have a trade either. Well, I guess I should say I have trades. I appreciate the super chat, Right Wing. I guess I should say I have trades, but for some reason, folks, this year, the previous years, the last two generations of phones. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Well, it's not about me being wrong. What's your opinion on this? The last two generations of devices from not just Samsung, pretty much the people, think of your favorite OEM. Now think about the last two generations. Now hear me out. Weren't those really good? Isn't the iPhone 11 Pro really good? Isn't it really good? Isn't the iPhone 12 really good? I think the S21, the small one, is really good. You look at the Pixel 5, really good. Pixel 4a, solid. Pixel 4a 5G, fantastic. Think about the last 1.5, 2 years of devices. Haven't they gotten really, really good? Look at LG's lineup. They got some great phones, but I'm not willing to part with some of these phones for these trade-in prices on that. I can't do it, man. I can't do it. John Mooring, if you don't know John Mooring, man, this guy's been following me for so long. The Z Fold3 is too similar to the two. Also, don't think app developers will take foldables seriously until Apple releases one. Now, this is a legitimate statement because unfortunately, Apple is never really first in inventing anything. And then when they do it, they always say that they made it better, or they've convinced people to believe that to wait on them because they're going to get it right. Apple's folding device, they're going to take notes from Microsoft. Guaranteed. Apple's not going to risk, because Apple charges a lot of money for their devices for repair. They are not going to risk using a thin sheet of plastic over a thin sheet of glass. You're looking at Apple's design for some kind of folding phone. I would be shocked if they use that thin plastic like they're doing. I just can't see it happening. I can't see it happening. Of course, the Pixel 5 is worth getting if you can get one. Yeah. I think there's a big split amongst my friends. Most want a cheap phone that is reliable. So I think about five have a Pixel 4a, and then a couple of them have the nearest most expensive device. That's normal. That's normal. That's normal. That's normal. Yes. Yep. So John Evans, I appreciate the super chat. I'll be on the hunt for a 256 or a 512 Note 20 Ultra. The Fold 3 and the Flip 3 are not my cup of cocoa. Appreciate the super chat. Let's see here. I see a comment from Pristine here. When Apple does do it, it's serious deal. And I've been feeling like when Apple makes a foldable, they'll really take off. Unfortunately, that's the mentality, and no one's wrong for those comments like that. I just think that I'm not in a disagreement. If it sounds like I'm disagreeing with you, no, I'm in agreement with you. I think, unfortunately, people follow Apple's every move sometimes, and it's not always the best move, you know? Oh, look at this person here. She made it. I haven't seen you in a long time. What's going on? Let's see here. Oh, he's talking about ditching. Okay. Yeah, reasonable requests. Everybody has their own way of thinking about what they should and should not do with their own, because ultimately it's your money and you're spending your own money on these products, and you should have some level of the terminology is know your worth. That applies to certain areas of our lives and who you are, but this rules still apply. Know your worth. If you're spending your money, know what you're getting into. Not going to kill the iPad with the foldable one screen. Yeah, I think people will probably still buy an iPad even if they have a folding device out. Yeah, I think that Apple could pull it off. Look at the things they've done now. They've resold the same phone pretty much in different body. How many times? Yeah. I miss the most with the new release and Samsung graphic. Okay, yeah, I hear you. All right, BW1 is here. What's up, man? What's going on? I see you made it. Good you could stop by once again. Growing pains. So I posed the question, how do you really feel? Because sometimes a person, when you're discussing certain things, you're going to present yourself a different way depending on who you're around. This isn't new behavior, and there's nothing wrong with that behavior. But like they always say, your children act different when you're not around. That's kind of how it is with tech. You want to say certain things in a certain light that you just wouldn't say in certain areas, depending on who you're around. But I personally feel like the Z Fold3 may sell a lot. But honestly, folks, the Z Flip3 is the one that consumers are going to flock to. Or more people will have. Now, some people will just buy the Z Flip because of the price. They're going to say, I'm not paying $1,800 for this, or I'm not paying $1,900 for this. I'm going to pay $999 for this, or $1,050 for this. I'm getting the same type of, they'll justify why they're not going to get the Z Fold3. And it's okay. There's no wrong answer as to why you won't do something or why you should do something. That's on you. You have the option to do whatever you want to do with your money. But I just think that depending on who the person is, they'll be able to determine whether or not they want to pick up whichever one they want. I think I'm not biased to the Z Flip3. Believe it or not, it does cost $1,000. And we're just talking about these two things with carrier deals. Samsung, just the person that wants this and they probably don't need that much phone, I'm going to lean them more towards the Z Flip3 because they might see quickly that, oh, I can flip this away and store it away in my pocket. That's what they're going to do. So I see a comment here from Loso. He says, I don't think I'm getting the Fold until they design apps to fully utilize the real estate. You know, the good thing about this statement is I agree, but I'm going to get the Fold, obviously. I'm going to get the Fold, but I just think that the Surface's implementation, this is why I think Apple is going to do it like this. I think Apple's going to do it like this. They're going to have it to where, because see, right now, when you think about it, people praise the iPad, but the iPad still isn't taking advantage of all that real estate. Am I wrong? I don't think I am. The iPads don't take advantage of the real estate, unfortunately. Super chat from John Morning here. I appreciate you, sir. Taking care of the squad. I appreciate it. Thank you. I saw a comment here. These comments are cool. I like to kind of address these sometimes, but Z Fold3 or wait for the Surface Duo. The Surface Duo 2 doesn't exist. So really you should be saying Surface Duo 1. At least that's the way I would approach it. Because comments like this, I always ask, what are you using right now? And I ask you that directly right now, Hoff, what are you using right now? And then I'm gonna circle back around to you once I see what you're using. Apple is playing with people's emotions and loyalty. They've been doing that for years, but they're not the only ones doing that. When you think about it now, every OEM is doing this. People are just out front with it with Apple because Apple has learned to keep themselves in the news, whether it's, okay, so if you've ever been in any kind of marketing class, you know that negative press is still press. As long as you can keep someone talking about you, you're good to go. It doesn't matter what they're talking about. As long as you're being talked about, that means that something about you is still interesting enough to where people are going to say, what's going on over there? That's how it is. I think that in 2020 or 2021, a lot of phone manufacturers took more time to create flagship devices that people are able to afford now. Do you think the phone manufacturers are making phones at a loss? I think, you want to be honest? I can't do nothing but be honest with you. A lot of these, if you look at where your phone is manufactured, they're paying probably pennies on the dollar, and I don't think they're selling anything at a loss. Apple proved this when we found out how much their phones really cost. Like they were selling the iPhones for $1,200, $1,800, but they only cost them $300 to make. But then you have to pay PR, you have to pay these other departments, but they're still making a boatload of money. So I don't think they're the only company I think took something at a loss. Is probably OnePlus initially. Probably. Moment of silence. All right. Where's Trent? I saw Trent in here. Well, Trent, I would agree. Trent says, I think people should just worry about the phone that they want and not the phone that the consumer wants. I think when you elaborate on this, because in the tech space, I think I know where you're going, but in the tech space, when you define people, that's what I should say, define people. Because in the tech space, as a creator, I try to use my voice to look out for the consumers. And if I had it my way, I wouldn't sell any consumers phones that I would have consumers buying Motorola, Google, you know, the phones in that price range, because you're getting a bunch of battery with Motorola. You're getting really good cameras, solid software. With the Pixel lineup, where's my, this phone is $349, folks. It's killing lots of things that so-called flagships can't do. See, so define the people, and then we'll circle back around to that trend, because that's good conversation. I like that. All right, so here's Mikhail Felton says, and that's what kills me, because People say that there's not enough change in the Fold 3 or the Fold 2, but buying an iPhone every year, there barely has any upgrades. And again, that's that great marketing and mindset of Apple, that you really should just buy the next phone. Put your comments and questions down below here. Trent, I'm kind of behind, so I'm waiting for Trent's comment to come back up. Get this chat caught up here. Appreciate all your comments coming in, folks. Really a lot. I never got people buying a new device to avoid use it. Get the Z Fold3 and enjoy it. Any device, you should get it and enjoy it. The infamous Junebug. Whoa, I haven't seen you in a minute, man. Junebug says, as an Apple user, I think the Z Fold3 was pretty dope, but it's too expensive. Not sure why you would need 2 screens, but to each their own, right? That's correct. I see the functionality with multiple displays. Some don't, some do. If someone has a Z Fold 2, should they trade in their Fold 2 for the Z Fold 3? Okay, so I kind of tackled this a little bit earlier. I think that if you have a Z Fold 2 and you just don't want it, first thing you have to ask yourself, is this a person who buys every year? If it's a person who upgrades regularly, which is most consumers now because of all these trade-in programs, just go for it. If you're on the Samsung trade-in program, you're going to do it either way because you're not even paying for the device in full. You're starting over, but you're getting, that's what you signed up for, is to get every new device. Okay, but if you're talking about that average Joe who just bought it within the last year, obviously, and they see this device and they say, oh, I got to have this, I would just ask them why. Why do you want it? Especially depending on how much they pay for it. If they paid a lot less than the retail of the Z Fold 2, then it ultimately boils down to that person deciding whether or not they want to take a L on the. Now, most creators don't take a L. Most creators don't take a L when they buy devices because of the revenue that comes in from the channel. Let's be honest about it. You make revenue on your channel. All the super chats, all the thanks that you guys do to the video, all the donations, that all goes into the creator's bucket, and it helps them to buy the next device, and it helps them to do live streams and thank you in real time. And it just supports the channel. But regular people who didn't have a trade-in, or they're still financing it, whatever the case may be, I'm always going to say, if your phone still working, it's not some kind of business tool you're not making any return on this phone, stay where you're at. I'm not going to try to sell a person on a phone just because it's new. Stay where you are, save your coins, stack it up. You might need it for an emergency. That's what I say. Don't switch just because. Don't do it. I saw BW1 down here. I can't find it. Let me see. It's going kind of fast. Here we go. I see Trent's now. Okay, I got Trent's coming up. Okay. Both devices are niche products that I'm glad it exists to push the innovation more. I agree. I think, and this is what I was talking about earlier, pushing the mainstream conversation over to, should we start paying closer attention to foldable devices? We absolutely should. We absolutely should. Let me see here. I see a comment over here. I think it's time for me to experience the Z Flip3. I believe the Z Fold3 is not going to be something I could handle every day. Having owned both, Tony, obviously, I'm going to tell you that, yes, the Z Flip3 is going to be really, really good at using day to day. Okay, I see Trent's comment. We're going to get that one up here. We'll need Google to get into the folding market. Really, I totally agree. I'm all for Google getting into the folding market. But I do want them to do it right because I appreciate stock Android. Oh my gosh, I appreciate stock Android. I'm a stock Android fiend when I can have it, And a lot of times, if I'm being honest, I technically scan my Samsung devices with a stock Android launcher. Like when I'm using it regularly, something about it, I'll switch it back and forth sometimes for review purposes, but ultimately I kind of keep it on a stock Android theme. All right, Trent, where you at, man? Okay. Here we go. All right. So what I mean by people is if you're purchasing a phone you want or need, and you're going to do to be different from the masses, I think too many people get caught up into what other people want, and that's totally legit. And especially now, if you circle that back around to the creator standpoint, it really gets bad, doesn't it? It gets bad because influencers and creators influence. They some people watch and they just can't watch. They end up buying something that they really don't need. They don't need, and even if you take price away, let's just lay this out there. You've got the Z Fold3. All this is a line of devices, and they all cost $500. Okay, most people still should not pick the Z Fold3. They shouldn't, because they're not going to get the use out of it. If you don't like it just because of the price, reevaluate that. Okay, so because everybody has a lane that they're supposed to drive in, right? And if you're not driving in that lane, then you really can't tell people how to drive in that lane. But I find that a lot of people drive in lanes that they probably shouldn't be in because they're not getting their money's worth. And when I speak of worth, is a strong conversation to have, folks. People always ask, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Well, a lot of things are worth it for me because I'm getting some kind of benefit out of it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just it's a lane for everybody. It's a phone for everybody. But I understand exactly what you're saying. Sometimes it's hard for those people to focus on what they should be focusing on. Yeah. Let me see. I got a couple of comments I want to post here. Jeff says, I really hope that the price of Samsung Pixel can be at a cheaper price point. I'm always promoting whether or not something should cost less. I'm hoping. I've seen some what I would consider they might be legitimate Pixel prices. Now I'm going to speak on that. I'll leave that for when that's actually on board, but I totally understand what you're saying. We all should be gearing towards lower prices, but the way that we control the market, what am I saying? You guys know how to do this already. Don't buy stuff and the prices will drop. With everyone excited about the Pixels, whereas One UI is now much better than vanilla Android. This is an opinion and it's not a fact, but I understand what you're saying. If you prefer One UI better than stock Android, it's all preference. I prefer some of the functionality of One UI, but a lot of that stuff is overkill, stuff that people don't even use. Some people just will not swipe over the side and open up that side menu. I have it now. I rarely use it. I mean, I'm a straightforward type of person, so that's probably why when I get my One UI devices, I very seldom use a lot of those functionality and those features. I do sometimes, depending on what I'm doing, but most consumers do not use all those features. They like the Samsung devices for whatever reason, a big screen or good cameras. Everybody has their own reasoning behind it, but I respect your opinion too. BW1, I'm waiting for more to come to these devices before jumping into the foldable game, basically. But they have honestly abandoned Note users. Yeah, they're trying to integrate the wrong way, I guess I want to say. I don't want to write on my Z Fold3. It's not something I would probably do because, in order to store that pen, I got to store it in that separate case. I don't know. It's a whole bunch that goes into me writing on a screen like that. Now, as a Note user, because I'm an avid Note user, I've purchased every Note faithfully. I use that S Pen I love using the S Pen to sign my documents. I don't know how many business owners are in this conversation, but when you have a lot of documents to sign, comes in clutch. It's just clutch to be able to grab your S Pen. They send you the email. You pop it open. Boom, boom, boom. You're signing it, and you can keep going with what you're doing. Especially if you have a 5G device, you don't need to connect to Wi-Fi, or you connect to just having the S Pen. Period. I love it, man. But I don't think I want to write on plastic glasstic, as they would say. I don't think I want to do it. I don't care how many improvements they've made, with the S Pen. I just don't see it happening. I love the Note line, man. I love it. I can't stress it enough. Post your Oh, I guess these guys are having a conversation down in the comments down there. Okay, I see. Post your comments and questions down below. Here's a comment from Michael Peppertech. He says, I'd suggest if people are going to upgrade their Fold every year, then they take advantage of the buyback guarantee. I totally agree with that. That's the purpose of having that. That's the purpose of having that, so you don't have to come out of pocket too much. Not trading in my Z Fold 2 for the Z Fold 3. There's nothing on the Fold that wows me. Totally agree. There's a lot of people out there that you really should, like we said earlier, you should sit still, stay put. There's no reason for you to change your device. But I say if you have a Z Flip 2, anything other than the Z Flip 3, and you're in that Z Flip category, switch it. I say switch it. Salute. I say switch it. Z Fold 2 owners, you shouldn't be in too big of a rush to switch unless you're in the trade-in program. Like Michael Peppertech said, and I said earlier, unless you're in the trade-in program, yeah. Well, the way you get into that, you just go on the website. You just go on the website, and the option is right there when you're trying to check out. Yeah. People should get what they want regardless of what someone else has. Of course, this is such a legitimate statement. I mean, you would think that people see the problem, you know, the thing is, man, if we're being honest, we're all adults. There's a lot of followers. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how old you are. There's a lot of people out there that follow whatever someone says. They do it all the time. They just follow exactly what someone says, and they think that person is right. That's why I say as a creator, you want to take advantage of your voice. You want to take care of the people who are actually taking care of you. You can't get on camera and say, oh, you definitely, my last camera was 2200 or something like that, my A7C. I gotta get on camera and promote for people to go and buy this. You want to be in the Sony ecosystem? Grab a ZV-1. That'll get you right in the door, and that's more than enough phone, or more than enough camera for a lot of people that want to vlog. Like I like to vlog. You don't have to buy all these expensive camera lenses and stuff like that. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You can get a ZV-1 and be good if you just want to get in on Sony. Don't do what I do. If you're old enough, remember, if you're old enough, don't do what I do. You do what I say. That's how it should be, and you should apply that rule to yourself throughout the entire tech community, but it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Ooh, there's a lot of comments in here. I gotta catch up. So, yeah, this is that's why my merch says hashtag to me. Yeah, if you got one of those, I moved them off, but if you got one, that's correct. If Google and OnePlus make a foldable, do you think that they would have a bigger impact on what people will feel about foldables than if Apple made one? See, the thing is, OnePlus is not in the conversation with Apple. Google, to me, is one of the best companies when it comes to software. If they just get their hardware in line, their cameras is fantastic. They got to get that right OEM to make their hardware. And so now that's what we're seeing with the Pixel 6. Pixel 6 lineup is going to be great. I mean, there's no denying it. It takes me back to the Pixel, to the Nexus 6P. Everybody kind of smirked at that phone, but that turned out to be one of the best devices ever. So unfortunately, I don't know that it would matter much. Not with OnePlus. They're not, to me, they're not in the same conversation with Google and Apple when it comes to certain conversations. I'm not saying they're a bad company, but I'm just saying I wouldn't put them in the same category with them when it comes to doing something with innovation. I think personally that LG is one of the best innovators. They got kind of pushed out of the game. Huawei, Xiaomi, these companies like this, they do some serious innovations. I mean, you look at the Mi Mix 4. If you're just a spec head, I can get that phone for freaking I'm getting all these Samsung notifications. I can get that phone for freaking $800-900. It's ridiculous. Look up the Mi Mix 4, son. I mean, you could get these incredible devices and they all innovate. Companies who innovate other than the ones that people are brainwashed to watch get overlooked. Let's just be clear here. The reason that Samsung and Apple can maintain the market the way they do is because of great marketing. It's no secret. We're not going to get on video and trash Apple and Samsung because they have the money and the capital to put that good marketing out there. You control the market, you control the market. It is what it is. Nothing I can do about it, nothing you can do about it. The only way to stop something, but you don't want to hate on a company just because, if Apple catches a lot of heat. But I don't care about, as a creator and as a regular person, I don't care how much money Apple is making. They're not giving me any. My stocks matter, but they're not giving me any big dough on the return of every sale. You know what I mean? So leave that to them. That's why that argument about, oh, the sales don't lie and all that kind of stuff, as a person trying to make a point, I think that should be the last point you try to make about a company. This is the reason that this company is great, because they're selling a whole bunch. There's plenty of devices out there that don't sell a lot that are way better than what we see on the market. But we live in a society where the market is controlled heavily. There's nothing we can do about it. And what we can do, there's enough of us that don't want to do it. And I'm saying us, even though I know where I stand. I'm going to be like, I'm just keep it neutral like that. I'm not going to try to exclude myself. Is it me or just the Mi Mix 4 or just a photo? I mean, let me put that up. I can't really. Oh, yeah, Mi Mix 4. Where's that comment? Let me see here. Is it just me, or is the Mi Mix 4, or I don't understand that one, but I'm pretty sure you'll elaborate. It was just a typo. Steven says, I was ready to sell whatever I needed to when I seen the OnePlus failed ad. It was actually a joke they were doing with the foldable thing. And all of that, man, it was just a straight up a stab to steal the attention from Samsung, which it didn't work, but I thought it was funny. It was just two phones together. They're giving 50% off of the T-Mobile version of the OnePlus 9. I already have a OnePlus 9 somewhere around here. Yeah. And the 9 Pro and every other smartphone you can possibly think of. I spend a lot of money on stuff, but I enjoy it. But yeah, I think when I first saw that too, I was like, whoa, foldable. And I thought, wait a minute, let me research this. Yeah, totally no foldables going on. So let's see comments. All the phones are outside. Yeah. Let me get this one right here. Look at this comment. All the fun with phones are outside of the US. Oh man. So you were going to circle back around to me, but not sure if you saw my response. Hoff, where you at? I didn't see it, Hoff. I'm sorry. These comments are quick, man. Let me scroll back up, Hoff. What phone are you? You should have told me in that comment what phone you're using. Now let me go find your comment. Hoff. There's a ton of comments in here, Hoff. Hoff, where are you at? I did say I was going to circle back around to you. You should see these comments flying for me, man. Oh, boy, if only you knew. I don't think I'm going to be able to find that comment, Hoff. That was a long way up. Just put your comment in there again, Hoff, and I'll catch it this time. Because I think I asked you what phone you were using currently. If I remember correctly, I asked you what phone you were using. Samsung starts off by talking about the open ecosystem, but continues the event by showing how their products work best with other Samsung devices. That's just called great marketing. I guess you really can't hate on that. I would market myself like, again, this goes back to me talking about people like kind of getting at Apple so much or picking an OEM to get at a lot. But reality is, folks, if you owned your own company, wouldn't you market yourself? You would push yourself as much as you. That's why I push my brand. We push you want to be out front. We're all in different tiers and different levels of what people see us, but you want to be out front. You don't want to have this great company and then nobody knows about it. So yeah, that's great marketing. I think they should be doing that. Like they were talking, remember they started talking about 8K? Then they start promoting their 8K TVs. I'm like, why wouldn't you do that? That's what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to push your own product. So, hey, no shade here, man. I use a lot of different OEMs, and I don't see the problem with marketing. Sometimes it turns into brainwashing, but unfortunately, yeah, that's how it goes. Hoff, put your comment back on, man, so I can see where you're at, man. There's links to purchase the devices, or at least go check them out if you choose to do so. I see a comment right here. I got a Duo. What do you say? I got a Duo, and I'm torn. No, don't give up your Duo. Let me retract that. I'm not giving up this Duo is staying right here, sir. I'm not giving. This is a piece of history in the tech game that people tried to laugh at and make fun of, and it's a fantastic device. This product is ridiculous. I personally, no matter what, I'm not trading. No, I'm not selling nothing. This is one of the best pieces of tech I have. And it is just, it's innovation at its best. And I just think it's just this folding phones like this. I like it. I can use 2 actual applications. That is what I love about it. So I'm not giving up this premium hardware. No way. I can watch a movie on one side of the Duo, email a client on the other side, text a family member. It's just way too universal. And the quality of that product is just fantastic. Hoff says, I pass it again. Not sure why you not seeing it. Well, I can't see it. I only see these ones that are popping up now. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but okay, anyway. Waiting on the Duo 2. Is the Duo your primary? It is one of my primaries. I have 3 phone numbers. Yeah, and the Duo is kind of yes, because when I need to get stuff done, I'll whip this out. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm just making some phone calls or something, I have my Bluetooth on the OnePlus 9 Pro or whatever other phone I'm using, and then the cameras. You know, you gotta have. I have a lot of Pixel devices, but I keep one. So I have my small one with me because I've been moving around a lot today. So I'll pop my SIM card in my small one so it can go easy in my pocket because I was out doing something. I wanted to get some portrait shots, and nothing is touching Google for any kind of photos, in my humble opinion. Just can't see it happening. All right, guys, we've been rolling way longer than I wanted to roll. I have to go pick up some packages. I got some orders that I had come in from FedEx, and I didn't have them delivered here. I had them go to my business address up there. So I got to go get those. We will continue, man. I normally, now just so you know, I know this isn't a normal streaming day for me, but again, I totally was just sitting around. I was like, you know what? I was looking at a bunch of stuff online. I was like, let me just pop onto a live stream real quick. And at least I scheduled it. All right. At least I scheduled it. I don't know how you got the notification, but I actually did schedule it. It's on the website, smartphoneconversations.com. Be sure to check that out. That's the plug. Yeah, I try to schedule these, but I totally was not getting ready to stream. So Tuesday at 2 o'clock Central Standard Time is my normal streaming time. But I want to talk about this because I've got lots of videos coming up, and I got some videos coming out again on this subject. So I said, you know what? I'm going to put it in a stream. I just want to talk to everybody real fast like this. I don't want to record a pre-recorded video sometimes. I want to talk about it, talk to you real time. So maybe next time, maybe next Thursday, if I can do it again, we'll have some guests on. And so you don't just have to look at me. You can get someone else's perspective on it and hear them real time as well. So it's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I'm going to play this little outro that I like to do before we get out of here so you can relax and woosah on your way out. I'm eating Ritz crackers. Yes. I'm out.